Things off here. Gen.G will be on that T side, and we can see that Daps has purchased a handful of utility, but it is him alone carrying utility. The rest are on the armor, and they're going for a fast ramp aggression. X7 will spot it out, and he will do the appropriate thing, which is to fall back and buy time for his teammates to rotate, but he might not have too much time here. The smoke will go down in a fadeaway fashion. He's actually created space, a headshot, and what else can he get done here? He will be traded, but maybe he did buy enough time.
Yeah, Bintet on a Mac able to eventually find a couple of kills, get the 4-on-3. Bomb has yet to be planted just yet. They do have full control of Lower. They're taking their time. Daps is actually still up here above the vents, so they've slowed everything down a little bit. They're trying to flex their advantage. They're trying to force Ince to make a mistake or make a rotation or show their hand. Sunny, in the meantime, has found Bintet, though, here from Squeaky. And now looking to just kind of hold these back halls. Is being pushed, though, by Sam and company. They do a little bit of a pair up there between him and Automatic and get a kill, but one gets traded back, and now it's all on Sam.
Be pretty tough here for Som to cover that bomb. These choke points are rather difficult, but there may be a small opportunity there. A lick of damage onto Sergey. Som trying to get that quick flick, that quick headshot. He needs it desperately, just a fast headshot to try to even the numbers. He does have some time to work with in this position at the very least, and he is being offered duels here just every so often. These peaks coming through. Som now commits forwards, and he will go down. Didn't hit the shot that he needed. And Ariel will deal with the rest. ENCE pick up the pistol. Always a very welcome sign on the CT side to start off with some economy.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good in the beginning for Gen.G. I thought they got some favorable trades and got really good control of Lower. Well started there for the Finns. We will see Gen.G invest into this. Mac 10s and upgraded pistols. A plenty. X7, though, playing up close on the radio. Has been dealt with. Alu trying to be that follow-up player, but the trades again favoring Gen.G early on. But now it's like the same story. Ariel being the recovery player with another 2 kills.
This is quite interesting because at Gen.G, they have gotten a couple kills. At the very least, there's some economic damage that has been put upon ENCE. And ENCE are going to have to be tentative here and spend time regrouping, which does actually afford an opportunity for a plant, it would seem, here for the T side. You can see they're not confident that the bomb side doesn't still have a CT there lurking somewhere, but eventually the bomb will be planted. That money, extra bonus money, will be secured for Gen.G, and this causes a lot of problems. This is already a big win for Gen.G in this round. They've already done economic damage. They've secured more economy, which means more pressure in the next round, regardless of what happens here. ENCE are in trouble. They need to make this retake smooth, and that's a great way to do it. And indeed, Sunny can finish things off for the defuse. But as I said, this is a huge win for Gen.G.
Indeed, getting that bomb plant, getting additional cash, as you were noting, gives them some options going forward. And they've also made some headway in a couple of rounds. Like, it must be said that at least they're getting some opening kills, they're getting some space early on. It's just about finishing off things, you know, completing the rest of the round as the stages progress. But this round will not be that time. It's just going to be upgraded pistols again. And a few flashes. Looks like they're going to try to pop flash their way into the upper bomb site.
See what they can find. Sergey unable to spot the one dropping, will likely hear it though. And Dav's making his way down. That's a little annoying if you're ENCE. You might have to rotate a player to deal with that. And that does make the defense a little bit weaker, more openings for these T players. And they are working with quite, well, with a small investment. So like a kill or 2 kills would actually be a pretty damn good response for them in this position. And I think they would be quite happy with that. Just keeping that CT economy honest. And that is not a good start for Sunny here. He can't really take more aggressive positions now. Has to fall back after receiving damage. And Gen.G.
Yeah, that's like one of those situations where you cracked open the door, you saw something you didn't want to see, and you closed the door and you slowly backed away. So he will get away with his life at the very least, though, and all the rifles are still in play.
This setup, though, they're looking for X7. Daps will spot him. And here, surely, the player's pushing through ramp indeed. X7's in the open now. He's in some trouble. Can he escape? He's able to take down Daps. He can fall back behind that. Oh, nice shot coming in from Som there onto Alu. So there is some damage done after all. After forcing these CT players back, there's also openings on the map and 30 seconds with which to use them.
Every round has been scary so far, I feel like, for ENCE, even though that they've been winning them. But is it finally going to catch up to them is going to be the question of this round, because there is a chance they can pitch the upper bomb site. Now, Sergey and Ariel still have really good positions to defend this upper site right now. And Sunny has Heaven covered. There it is. Sergey from up top, able to find Kusta, getting pressured, able to fall back. Ariel has his back here inside the site itself. And now everyone from ENCE is pitching in. Time is running out. Kills are being dealt. But ENCE trying to get that bomb plant, but ENCE was wise to it, so it's going to be 3-0. And they actually wound up not taking that much damage overall. They say 4 players. There was a lot of damage being dealt, and it got a little bit dicey, but they still escaped with 4 guns.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was, it looks like it could have gone so terribly, awfully, horribly bad for ENCE, but they've managed to keep 4 alive indeed. So that does help, and now the Kriegs come out, the AWP onto automatic as well, and he is just a star player in every sense. Just he can do anything. He's really incredible. I can't wait to see what he's able to do on the T side with an AWP. Opening up with it means that he is very confident, looking for that initial pick through the squeaky door. Not finding anything just yet. He has Daps on the other side, out on the outside around main, so there is a chance for Daps to also get some position. Right now, the positions being held by ENCE is fairly passive. They have 4 M4s, a UMP, so their ability to play the ranges isn't quite as desirable as if they had an AWP and an additional rifle.
Kind of slow and quiet here from Gen.G, and that is to be expected. Daps has always been known to kind of want to play the more default kind of slow style, and when you're kind of a new team, that's kind of what you have to rely on. That's like the foundation you want to build up first. Then you start throwing in like gimmicky plays and fast-paced tactics and more set pieces with more utility, but right here you kind of just want to get your feet wet. You want to just start building again kind of that base to launch from, and now we do see them making some commitments. We do see some peeks into ramp room. Sunny is just kind of holding the ramp side, but a Molotov will force them back. It will give Gen.G ramp control. Daps is coming through low, so they want to pitch this lower bomb site. That is definitely the main goal, and they are running low on time, so they need to start making those decisions now. We do see them shuffling over into the lower site.
Ariel there with the 1v1 against Daps will win that. That's definitely a relief. And Gen.G maybe not fancying their chances down there, switching things to the upper bomb side here. Sergey's in the hut position. This could be very deadly. If he's able to win this battle, it's going to be very hard to plant the bomb. This is a key fight. Sergey, oh, he turns around just at the wrong moment, creating a huge opening now for Gen.G. Looking for that plant. It's denied by Ariel. I don't think there's going to be time here. ENCE, he's picked up the bomb, but there is no time to get this. The transfer comes through, and indeed the CTs will win by time, and Ali will be hunting them down after time. That's a 4-0 for ENCE. That was a close one.
Indeed it was, and that is always the pitfall of playing a slower style, is when you start waiting until the last 30 seconds or so to start making a decision on where you actually want to make that commitment, where you want to take that bomb. If one little thing goes wrong, it can really just throw a spanner in the works, and you can't recover from it. You just don't have time, and that's what happened there. There's a player at mini watching the plant, gets the kill. There's no time to get that bomb back and get the plant in still, and so ENCE can know that and just, hide and wait to win the round off the clock. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Like, is that going to be a consistent problem for Gen.G, or is that just kind of initial jitters? Because the one thing that everyone's excited about Gen.G, but remember, the core of this team played together on Cloud9. They had a lot of struggles at the end of last year, Dan. That must be said, and so they have a lot to prove, I feel like.
Indeed, and so far, they have at least been able to get some opportunities. Let's see if they can find any more moving forwards. Yeah, he's a little bit worried about the outside him, and Daps is maybe closer than he may anticipate with that PC-50.
A lot of dangerous map control here from Gen.G early. Kind of what we saw in the first couple of rounds, to be fair. But it's like, what can they do with it? They have yet to be able to convert something off the back of it. So far, an equal exchange takes place here through outside. Daps trying to cause a lot of ruckus here, but X7 and company are dealing with it just fine. Just ENCE and Kusta left against 3 from ENCE.
Good pick there from Kusta. Keeping the round alive, 30 seconds to go for that bomb plant. And ENCE now has an avenue in which he can maneuver to try to get that bomb down in time, and Kusta holds down position. Now ENCE aren't really in a great spot right now in terms of those rotations. Gen.G are going to be able to position as and how they please on this lower bomb site. So this is going to be a tough one. Looks like Gen.G's best chance to win a gun round so far. Let's see, though, if they can close it out.
Bomb is indeed planted. Good positioning here from ENCE behind the silo. Has his crosshair in the right place. It's going to come down to timing, but he does catch Sergey. So now all on Sunny, who is bleeding out already, and he doesn't want anything to do with this. You can't blame him. Just with only 16 HP, there wasn't a whole lot of fight left in him. And so finally, Gen.G are going to strike gold. It's off the back of ENCE with 2 kills. And again, this is the guy that we felt would be the star of this team. He's only played with them for the Anaheim qualifiers. They beat Riot Squad and Chaos, and he was an absolute monster in those games. And we know that he's been able to bring it to land in the past against some of the best teams in the world when he was in a really tough spot on Tyloo, to be fair. Like, that was a really chaotic environment, I feel like, and he was still able to find moments to thrive there. And you know, that's definitely a good sign to see him have a big round.
Yeah, ENCE's one of those players that actually like is just dripping with talent. It's kind of disgusting when ENCE's on, like what he can deliver. His mechanics are just out of this world. So it's I'm looking forward to seeing that. And we're going to see a fast explosion of the squeaky door as the players of Gen.G will make their way down the vents. I'm not sure if this was spotted by ENCE, but they have to respect that it's possible given that explosive action. And the rotation down lower has to be given for ENCE. And again, in forcing a player down lower, that creates openings elsewhere. Aerial investigating down the ladder, and he is going to find out that, yes, indeed, someone did drop, and it's Dabs with the MAC-10, happily swapping out for the FAMAS.
And Das has done this a couple of times already this game, where he's been able to get through vents, get into back calls, and either help them pinch towards lower, actually, you know, come up and try to help them control ramp from multiple angles, or just be a thorn in the side of ENCE. But unfortunately for him, this time, Sunny picks up on it very quickly. So back into a 4-on-4 pretty early on here. Meanwhile, ENCE and company have taken control of outside. They have stairs, so again, still holding some threatening positions as Automatic clears out the vents. And now they're coming back up, so still, ENCE not really sure where this is headed. It could go either direction at this point. Does seem like Gen.G are falling back, though, towards Mini, like they want to try to hit this upper bomb site. It's going to be mostly on Sergey here, inside the hut, X7 with just a pistol in the sight.
Nasty shot there from X7 to start things off. Sergey now call to action from the hut position, just working to delay after that initial kill. Knows that he can just create enough pressure here. Automatic, though, will start to deliver some kind of a defense, but it's up to ENCE. We bigged him up previously, and this is his moment to shine as he turns his back to try to deal with the upper heaven position. He finds it, but there is the trade set up by Alu in the right place at the right time, and ENCE will pick up another round, 5-1. It was looking, I think it's looked fairly shaky in many of these rounds, as you highlighted, Dust, but they are indeed closing them out. So that's really the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, Gen.G has to be kicking themselves. They feel like they probably should be up 5-1 right now. Just the amount of rounds where they had an advantage in the mid-round and had good map positioning and just yet to convert a lot of those. ENCE had obviously had a big play in the last round that got them around. And this one, he almost had the 1v2, right? I mean, it's just unfortunate. Alu, you know, just creeping his way in while ENCE was distracted from heaven. That's a tough spot to be in if you're ENCE to clutch that one out. And so our win one, lose one situation for Gen.G. Still able to buy here, but if they lose this, they would be on saving, but they had the chance to reset ENCE. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 deal type round, and like, you know, whoever is taking an L here is going to be maybe taking an L in the next one too.
ENCE last 3 rounds, only 1 player has survived in each of those rounds. That's devastating, and as Dust points out, that means big opportunities here for Gen.G, and they know it. Going for the challenge towards the hut position, the main position, and that's not going to work out for Som, as the defense comes through successfully for ENCE, and Dabs now trying to pressure towards Secret. Sunny with the smoke to deny any fast action there, and ENCE in the meantime creates a pick there towards the ramp position, and now there's picks all over the place as Sergey goes aggressive towards lobby as a response to the pick in hut, and it's squeaky, and it's just not working out at all here for ENCE and these aggressions, leaving Alu alone on the upper bomb site, and they'll figure out where he is soon enough.
Yeah, not sure everything that happened there, but you can certainly just see from the kill feed that, you know, ENCE and company were just catching ENCE, maybe trying to take more assertive positions all across the map and just winning those duels out. Sometimes this game does just come down to 1v1 duels, and if you happen to win them all, then you're going to win the round. I mean, that's just kind of a, I guess, a basic John Madden type of analysis of things, but sometimes it is that simple.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't kind of, I don't think you can fault ENCE for the plays that they made. They were just responding to the situation. Sergey coming out, swinging out of heart because he knows that ENCE just killed one of his teammates in lobby, and he just lost someone in squeaky at the same time. If you're going to get a kill, that's the moment when they're distracted, maybe expecting a trade from elsewhere. But as you say, you know, they had someone ready to take that 1v1, and he wasn't able to stand the test.
Indeed, so that op will just be saved by Alu here over in T-Spawn. Again, they are not going to have a whole lot of money to buy around it is kind of the big problem. That is the disadvantage in this economic system, which you've been dealing with for quite some time, to be fair, where if you jump off to a big lead early and then the rounds start getting close, you're the one that gets punished more. you're the one that doesn't have that loss bonus to rely on like Gen.G does, as it slowly fades away round by round, but it's still a safety net that lasts for quite some time. So that's really going to play against the Finns and really kind of create a comeback mechanic that maybe Gen.G will be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, it's really interesting because some teams are much, much better able to win rounds. Of course, you know, when they have these full buys, and then there can be a situation where if a team gets a bad economy, some teams are really struggle working opportunities out of a low econ, and some teams are very good at that. So either way, fast push comes in from ENCE. They want to take matters into their own hands here with the CZs. He can't quite deliver though. Alu trying to get the peaks, and there were opportunities there for him, but unfortunately he won't get it, but maybe Sergey will. He's picked up an AK here, coming in on the flank, swooping in with that deagle, and he's stolen an AK. This is interesting.
It's so scary because Bintet has 1 HP, man. You could breathe on him and he would die at this point, so he really has to be careful. He'll take a safe position behind the silo on the rafters, which may give him a chance to have a prolonged life. But it's going to be a lot of weight on Kusta's shoulders to try to finish this thing off. As we do see the op coming in from Rant, that is going to be Sunny with it in his hands as he's trying to just slowly maneuver in. Good one, it flushes Bintet out of position with the incendiary now all on Kusta, locked in the corner. Sergey stamps him out. And it's another close round, but it's another one that goes the way of ENCE.
Absolutely, it just seems to be just enough every time for ENCE to just clinch it, no matter how bad it gets, and that seems to continue. And that's really going to hurt Gen.G actually as well, because Gen.G, you know, ate away at their own loss bonus. They won one, lost, then lost one, then won one again. So that's their loss bonus effectively reset to 1 or 2 now at this point. So they're in trouble. They need to make this buy work if they want to, you know, start to find a grip of this game, this half at least. Cross smoke is put down outside, as we typically see on Nuke.
And Gen.G is mostly kept it slow and steady. I mean, again, no surprise, it is this type of style that Daps likes to implement more often than not. We did see them have like one quick upper take, but mostly just to get vents and then still hold it in a slower style. We haven't really seen them go for anything fast-paced, which to me, I feel like you could take advantage of ENCE's low utility and throw in some more aggressive plays if you wanted to. Let someone like Bintet loose a little bit, see if he can make a play, as times are getting tough. But the other thing is, if you're Gen.G, you probably don't want to change too many things, because again, some of these rounds have come down to like mid-round 3-on-3s where Gen.G have good controls of portion of the map, and you feel like, man, we just got to convert those. You know, like it feels like you don't want to change up too much because you feel like your early round has actually been pretty successful.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to trust the system, and Alu's going to destroy it. Automatic going down to the flick, and Alu can just happily shift away. Done what he needed to do in that instance, and there's only 40 seconds left, and Ali just also spotted that there wasn't really that much presence. They were looking for picks outside still, so ENCE don't have to rush into anything. They got 5 players left. They just rotate appropriately. We get some smokes, late smokes, very late smokes outside.
Again, the clock is starting to hurt Gen.G. Remember, they lost a round off with the timer just a few rounds ago, and now they're at risk of doing it again. They're in a 4-on-5 with just 20 seconds left. They do not have a site yet to start to plant into. They're trying to slip into lower, but Alu has caught on. X7 has a great angle up close. He's going to keep slowing them down. He does get killed, though, and this does open up lower, but can they get this bomb down? 8 seconds left. They're trying to get it in. The plant has been started by Stom. There was no threat from a CT, so it is now going to be a post-plant situation.
Yeah, there's a legitimate chance coming in here for Gen.G on this post plant. They just barely managed to secure it. Quick Molotov there to deny some pushes from the CTs towards that site from ramp. And there's not a lot of post-plant utility available here. They're going to have to do it with the shots. The CTs will be able to shuffle their way out of these choke points there. Alu goes down first from the better angle. Oh no!
Oh no!
Sonny's going to fall to his doom, it seems, and now it's just down to Sergey. 1 versus 2, the time is against him. 2 players playing around control here. That bomb is in the open. Sergey can't possibly cross to it without getting gunned down by one of these players, and he knows it. He's going to just try to save his gun. Gen.G have done it. They picked up the round, and again, we pointed it out. They needed to win that round to really stand a chance to make a comeback into this half, and they did it.
By the skin of their teeth, though. It was so close, man. Just imagine if X7 gets 1 kill there, and it slows them down a bit more. That could have been a real problem, but luckily they were able to get that entry that they needed.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, it was the fire, indeed, that got Sunny in the end. Kind of ironic.
See what you did there?
Yeah, it was a bit of a dad joke, but...
Faster outside presence this round from Gen.G. a lot faster. In fact, they're not even smoking the cross or anything. They're just, they know they have the weapon superiority, and they're just getting out there. Sonny is creeping around credit card now, and that could be problematic. Although the T's have mostly made their way down towards secret already, although the bomb is down outside. Someone might want to swing around and get that. Daps is in a low position towards Squeaky, I think, if I'm reading the map correctly.
Sonny has this weird spot right now where I don't know if Gen.G even have any idea. He might be able to really shock someone, but it's all going to come down to timing. And there it is. Sonny finding Bintet. Pops another on top of Marshmallow, but Daps will take care of him. So things are going swimmingly for Gen.G so far. To be expected, I guess you could say. But it is still winnable for ENCE. They do have a couple of rifles in play. They have Automatic low on HP. Both of them playing towards upper, however. So it's all going to be down to what site Gen.G decides to attack, and it looks like it will be lower. So these CTs will be avoided.
The approach here from Gen.G is actually quite cool and interesting. We'll maybe go into the details of it in a moment, but as you say, Dust, there's a lot of opportunities here for ENCE. If they have the right positioning, and it is difficult to have that. There's so little information on the map for them at the moment with so few players. Gen.G have had that secret control all along, so they have chosen that lower bomb site, and it's a safe plant behind the silo there. And looks like ENCE not really fancying this. It's not the upper bomb site, so they're like, well, screw it, we'll just go and save.
Yep.
But I liked what Gen.G did. They went aggressive outside. They didn't smoke it up. They made sure that they were seen going down low with most of their team, and then they just kind of hung out a little bit to see if there's a response, a panic rotation down lower, a panic rotation out of maybe main, so that there is, or mini as you say in North America, to see if, and then to see if they could catch those players going for that flank rotation. So it's kind of cool to see Gen.G just baiting out ENCE as hard as they could this round.
Nice seeing Gen.G get some success. I mean, I feel like they've had a lot of well-orchestrated rounds. It's just the execution at the end wasn't quite there. They couldn't quite put those finishing touches. But now we start to see them collect rounds. Bintet up to 10 kills and 10 rounds played. Exactly what you want to be seeing. Sam has even had some impactful moments, the number 2 man, which I think he was the player I was most worried about, because I feel like there was like 2 camps for Sam. Either you were super high because he's this young, skilled player, or you were like really down on him because his performances so far with like Envy and such didn't really go that well. And I feel like the reality is somewhere in the middle, where we still don't really know what type of player Sam's going to be. Maybe he does have a lot of potential and could be a skilled player, but he hasn't shown it yet. But it's not fair to also say that he has no chance, right? So I think that Daps of any in-game leader is the right one to have to maybe try to figure out how to unlock Sam a bit. And so far we have seen Sam, maybe, you know, stats-wise, purely doesn't look great yet, but he's had some big moments. He's had some key kills.
I think Automatic as well. He's such a great role model, and maybe like I've not heard anyone say anything but just the most amazing things about playing with Automatic. That he is like a great role model in terms of how inspiring he is by the amount of work ethic that he has. He's got a crazy work ethic, but also, as you say, very nice guy and very involved in every process that the team has. So it's definitely an experienced player to learn from. And those definitely help a lot for newer players.
Yep. Again, Gen.G taking their time, being very patient with this outside control. In the meantime, though, X7, one of the couple of players that actually do have a rifle in their hands, is able to find his mark, and now controls Hut with Aerial, making things a little bit scary for Gen.G. You have to try to work from this 4-on-5, but they still do have the superior firepower overall. And Automatic has his eyes on Hut, trying to make sure that there's going to be no backstabbing. As they do take into lower, Alu spots it, backs off into window.
Daps is not slowing down Sonny, though, with the door, just playing around with them. They will take down Alu in control, who had fallen back. He was the bait, but Sonny is able to spring the trap, although he's being dealt with now as well. And X7 swings in with another rifle kill. Problems now for Gen.G once again. A 2v3 after plant. Automatic at the back of the bomb site will get taken down immediately. Aerial having quite the round, but it's up to Daps, the fearless in-game leader. It's a safe plan, I believe. So Daps, he's not going to go for it, it seems like. Hoping that they were faking, but they were not. And the round will go to ENCE. Oh dear, Gen.G not going to be happy with that one.
That has to be like the fourth round this half that Gen.G have planned with like 8 seconds left. And what it does is it creates a lot of stress. It creates ENCE a lot of opportunity to be at the right place at the right time for the retake right away. And it doesn't really give you a lot of chances to really get into good post-plant positions or really set things up for the future. And also, you're running the risk of just losing off the clock again, which has already happened to them at least once this half. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I think they need to maybe get a little bit more decisive in the mid-round, but all in all, still, I think they look better than what the scoreboard indicates.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's a credit to ENCE for playing a great Nuke so far as well. And another pick outside from Ali, who's been pretty consistent and doing the damage there with the AWP. He's also got some more forward support here. The flashbang forward for Sunny from Credit Card as Ali goes for another swing there towards that T-red position. And that is certainly going to encourage Gen.G to leave the outside. It looks like they've given it up here, understanding that ENCE well and truly have this under lock and key. And they are going to respect that. They've lost a lot of health. They've lost a player. At this point, there's only one desperation option left, it seems, which is to burst the upper bomb side or the ramp position. So that's 2 options, but still, desperate.
Yes. Yeah, it's a desperate option either way, as you've noted. And Sergey has a really nice position here to deal with any type of hut exit. And still no decision yet here from Gen.G until he starts pouring out Speaky Door. However, from Daps and Kusta, Daps will lead the way, but perhaps just to get control of Vince. Again, he's done this a lot of different times, and now they show a look over at the radio area, but Alu here with AWP is looking to just go ahead and hold on to it, not looking to fall back. It's 2 big kills, X7 as well pitching in, leaving Kusta all by his lonesome here. Time is low. He does have possession of the bomb. He's getting into the hell area, going to start creeping up the ladder into heaven. Trying to see if he can maybe get into upper here and cause some problems, but Sergey was more than prepared for that. So it'll be an 8th round for ENCE. And they're starting to put a little bit of something together here. I mean, it hasn't been necessarily a lot of rounds in a row, but they've always been able to manage to stay on top.
Yeah, they've Gen.G have also gone about like 9 plants, I think, this half, which is actually, that's pretty epic. Most of the rounds that have been won for ENCE have been by defuse. So, you know, it just kind of goes to your point. You know, Gen.G are creating opportunities. They're getting bombs planted, but if you look a bit deeper and you look at the you know, what's actually going on in the context, then you start to see, you know, one of the other criticisms that you were talking about, whereby they're doing so by playing really slow rounds, which does create issues as well. But, you know, again, Gen.G, at least they do have 4 rounds at the moment, so it's not hopeless by any stretch, but it could be much more.
I think the issue is the last 6 rounds in a row, ENCE have had the opening kill. And so when you're creating those really early 5-on-4s, sometimes they get the opening 2 kills in some of those numbers I'm sharing with you. And really what that means is that you're starting to see Gen.G have to play from behind every single round. And their initial pick, their initial gains are not really there. And it's allowing ENCE to have a lot more comfort on rotations. It's allowing them just to really settle in a little bit more in the half. And I think that's something Gen.G needs to try to figure out.
I think Ali's been having a lot of success outside with Yorp as well, and one thing I've noticed from Gen.G is they're not as happy to run the outside smoke defaults as we typically see. So I'm hoping we see more of that as the eco round is dealt with very handily by Sunny and Ali outside and Aerial as well. But indeed, I'd like to see, you know, more of the kind of, you know, smoke defaults outside, whereby Gen.G are able to force rotations without having some of these duels, because they are losing them mostly early in the round against the likes of Alu in particular with the AWP. So we'll see if there's any adjustment there for Gen.G.
The other issue with Gen.G is they also lost 2 rounds to pistols, basically. So you got to add that in there as well, on top of losing the opening duels pretty consistently here lately. But now they're back onto a full buy with 2 downs left to go in the half, and so we'll see if maybe their fortunes change a bit. As once again, though, they're just kind of staying in their more default setup, not really making too many adjustments. They also don't really go for outside control early either. Like, they kind of sit back and they don't, like, you know, they don't throw the traditional smoke wall. I think you were kind of alluding to that just a moment ago, where they've been able to play a bit standard, but also it seems like they're lacking in some areas as well.
It's definitely an interesting point for me, because you can see Ali's actually repositioned here. That position is definitely a dangerous one. We have seen that Gen.G toss the Molotov there a couple times.
They didn't have the money for it this time.
But yeah, they were lacking it, and you can see how the timing just doesn't work out. Yeah. The one moment that Ali does decide to actually push that position. And I want to be a bit biased in how I view Nuke, because I view it very much from the lens of how Astralis play Nuke. But I'm like to think that Astralis play every map optimally. So
yeah, I, mean, I think you're not taking too many risks with that statement.
So yeah, I kind of model what I expect to see generally from how Astralis develop their defaults, and we aren't seeing a lot of the kind of Astralis-esque outside plays and tactics around the smokes and timings and so on. So we'll get at least Kusa jumping down the vents there, but it's a 2v5. It couldn't be much more hopeless. 20 seconds as well, so the time is against them. Forces Kusa's hands, and everyone is dead. 10-5 for ENCE. It looks extremely shaky in the first 6 to 7 rounds, but it really has stabilized. ENCE are looking good for an 11-4 at this rate.
Yeah, like if you look at like kind of the last 4 or 5 rounds, ENCE have had a very comfortable start in each of them. You know, you had Alu was one round where he just put on an op clinic outside. You had Sunny had a multi-kill opening to one round, and now it's Alu again with AWP from outside, catching a player over towards red. So they're really starting to get those early advantages and really capitalize on them. That's really causing the steam ahead. And now it's the last round. Gen.G trying to go for something quicker over towards ramp room with limited economy. They do get the entry on the X7, but Alu is very quick to respond. That Molotov was not there fast enough to stop Alu from getting the immediate trade. So it's back into a 4-on-4. They have held them off, but they still are in a little bit of trouble here as ENCE is well positioned.
Yeah, having Aerial over by Deacon Tam already, and it does create a lot of questions for the T side, and you can see they try to answer that by backing in up the ramp position towards the players that were coming in from heaven. And this was a brilliant call here from Gen.G. Getting down into the site would have been very difficult. They've just switched things up before ENCE can expect it, catch them off balance, and now it's down to Aerial for the clutch. He's been performing marvelously so far for ENCE, but it looks like he may not realize Automatic was sitting there, and indeed Automatic picks up the kill, and that's the round. 5 rounds for Gen.G. It could have been more, but it's enough. Was definitely a troubling half for them. They did scrape together 5 rounds though, which can definitely be enough. We'll see if they can get off to a good start here on this CT side, and they're not going too quickly to begin with, spreading out across the map, making Gen.G guess. What are ENCE up to?
Yeah, not a whole lot. There's no utility for ENCE, though, so it's just pistol armor, so they have to just kind of brute force their way through something. I hope they can win a duel. Arrow just gets busted trying to come out there, but they do get the kick onto the ramp room that'll allow them to start maybe finding their way into that lower bomb site, but they also could challenge underneath heaven. But it looks like Daps is finding out here that they are just looking to go ahead and plow into lower. They've found Kusta as well, so things are looking really nice for ENCE. They did win pistol in the first half as well, and they had a big start because of it. So we'll see if they can have that same thing happen for them here and now, or can Gen.G put a stop to this?
And there they go, looking to double peek Callie's position, a headshot position, and as a teammate there in X7 to also lend some assistance. No way to make further progress there for Gen.G, and Daps will have to save his kits. Not a good look here for Gen.G, losing that pistol. If we cast our minds back to the first half, ENCE were also the team that won the first pistol, so that's 2 pistol rounds going their way. They couldn't be more pleased with that, I imagine.
Yep, got a 4-0 start at the back of it as well. So Gen.G cannot allow that to happen again. They need to be able to fight back right away, otherwise ENCE will be dangerously close to map point. And that will knock Daps and company into that elimination best of 3 tomorrow morning.
Such a tough situation. I mean, at this point, you're at this position as the CTs where you could try to save one and then buy the next round, but they're quite far behind, so that there's this incentive to just try to go for the low econ kind of guns. We see that's what's happening here. Fast movement from ENCE, in fact, straight out of the squeaky door for Aerial, down the vents, down to the lower bomb site, looking for a rotation. There's nobody just yet. Bentek could be in a lot of trouble if he's able to get the flank happening, and in comes the Brad push. And Aerial, if there it is, the pinch. Oh my god, it's disgusting. Automatic at least gets the trade, and there's the boost from Kusta, but it doesn't do quite enough damage. It is a 3v3 though, this is chaos.
He didn't get a single frag for that position. That is unbelievable considering how much chaos was ensuing there. He seemed like he should have easily had the jump on somebody, but just gets absolutely stamped out. And there's Automatic gone as well, so now the advantage swings the way of ENCE. This is a round that Gen.G did invest into heavily, and now it's slipping through their fingers. There are some low health players out there, though, from ENCE. They are very vulnerable targets, and Daps might just be able to still pull this thing off if he can find the right timing, trying to sneak behind the player outside. They actually will just pass by each other, essentially, as Alu takes control of heaven, and they will be bringing that bomb into the upper bomb site. taking their time, just making sure that they're all together, want to be able to swing out as one unit and be able to trade. Luckily for them, no one was even there, though, so they get it for free. Now it's just about planning and holding off any retake attempt.
The thing as well is that they know, Gen.G know that these players are low. I mean, Automatic got so many tags with the scouts, so that makes these heads actually very dangerous. His pistol's very dangerous. Son with the Mag 7, very dangerous. But obviously the issue is, you know, can they find position to actually attack? And they will be sneaking their way forwards. And Daps has the kit that he saved from the pistol round. So he has the kit. So that makes all the difference here. Oh, can't land the shots onto the first player. There was an opportunity there. And without getting that kill, I think it's dead in the water at this point. But with that kill, Son would have been able to move forwards and there could have been a real opportunity here. He'll at least be able to hold on to the Galil, but they need rounds desperately. This won't be one for them.
No, it will not. And while they will save the one Galil, they can't really invest too much around it. Maybe just some P250s and the like. So it really should be skating into another round, another big start to a half. At that point, it would be 7 of their rounds thus far will have been of just winning pistol in the anti-eco. So again, that does show you just how much influence the early game can be.
Well, what do you say about this one? Just a full save pretty much. The Galil held onto by Som. Can he do some damage with it? Well, no opportunity to do so, at least not yet. A couple T players from ENCE will be able to drop down the vents into a control room. They've got all the control of that lower bomb site they could possibly ask for.
Dan, there is a starking difference in style, I think, that we could talk about here on how early ENCE are attacking these lanes. Not only are they getting the initial map control that Gen.G was doing all half long, but they're doing something with it right away. There's no indecision. You know, they just look to slice their way through, and they will surgically now get into this lower bomb site. They get the opening kill onto Kusta as well. No threat to them really at this point.
Politely closing the door. And it looks like they will systematically, one at a time, take down the Gen.G players. Now, it's not too much for Gen.G to do in this round, obviously. I mean, Automatic at this point, saving the Galil could be worth it just to have more money in future rounds, and that is what he's trying to do. He's just hanging out there towards the trophy room at the moment. See if he can keep himself alive. He might be able to pick off a couple players in this kind of a position. This is an exit-seeking position, looking to catch players coming up the ramp, maybe upgrade to an AK-47. However, ENCE doing the responsible thing, and they are exiting through the positions that they know are completely safe. And at the same time, ENCE are expecting an Automatic to be at T-spawn, and he is, of course, too smart for that. So,
big round from ENCE. They don't lose a single player, so a lot of money being saved up. They seem very disinterested about being on camera, Dan. They weren't about it. But we appreciate all of you out there in the crowd, hanging out, watching the games. Our first event here on the West Coast for DreamHack. So
yeah, that's really
cool to be here in Anaheim.
Yeah.
But this is the round, Dan. This is the one that Gen.G absolutely must collect if they have any hopes, you feel like, of coming back into this one. And that's the right way to start it off. They catch Alu trying to quickly work his way into that outside stairwell. Big frag to find.
The Galil actually feels like a good weapon now as well these days since the changes.
Absolutely.
So it's actually not too surprising to see some action there from Kusta going his way with the Galil. And 5v4 now as ENCE in this kind of a situation. You kind of take stock of your map control and you figure out, okay, what do we have? Okay, let's just try to get in there. We don't have quite enough players to start trying to invest in playing a long drawn out map control game, so let's just shove it all in, and they will make their way towards that upper bomb site, splitting through Hut and Sweetie perhaps. Flashes coming through. Daps left wondering, are they going to push this with that flashbang or not? There come the second swing of nades. I think they were just trying to bait a counter nade there.
Good kill, though, there from 7 on to Kusta. That's going to get them back into equal footing with their opponent, but Bintet in the corner is reeling it right back in and gets the bomb down. Big double kill there from Bintet. He's been the one beacon of hope for Gen.G, I feel like, throughout this game. He's had a couple of big moments. I feel like he's had most of the impact in the rounds that they have won. And it looks like that's going to be another one here from him and company, though Ariel trying to see if he could get himself back into it, but Daps will hold it off. And so a key round that Gen.G needed just to survive has been collected, but still so much work to do.
Yeah, those kinds of multi-kills from Bintet. I think that's the kind of action you can expect from him a lot. He's really good with his back to a wall, just fragging out. And so that's the kind of stuff we need to see for Gen.G. And if they're going to get back into it, obviously. They're going to keep doing that. Automatic on the door with the AWP, seeing if he can find a quick pick. But look at the angle here. Beautiful stuff. They're spamming through the corner of the hut from lobby, and that's going to disincentivize Automatic. And they're so fast. Automatic's ready, though. Picks up the push from Sunny.
I was worried for a second that he wouldn't be ready. I thought maybe Sunny had found the window, but not quite. But they are still finding some entries on upper. Luckily, Daps and Sam are up to the task. It's left Alu in a tough spot that Bentet will be able to take care of. So, well done by Gen.G. I mean, that looked like it might be a little bit of a problem, but they were able to handle it just fine.
Yeah, good call from Daps as well after the first kill to drop down for the second and just force the fight. Because if he hangs out there, he's going to get split on from the squeaky, the players coming up squeaky. So just very smart positioning and very well handled executionally. You can see Daps has been putting in the hours on the DM, and I think he's definitely individually going to be called into question if ever there are issues with this team.
Sure.
So, good to see that he's looking sharp. And speaking of which, Automatic taking that off outside now, looking to be the presence that Ali was for ENCE on that CT orb.
Yeah, not a whole lot you could expect from ENCE in a round like this. Again, just a great pistol, but they have won a couple of rounds like this in the first half, so I don't want to necessarily deny them maybe that chance, but Kusta so far looking pretty nice here towards lower, able to split up the attack with the fire and get the opening kill, and again just continues to stall out these teams, able to back away, find a couple of more as well, no problem for Kusta. He is eventually found, but he's done a lot of work on his way out.
So he'll creep his way through, and he will execute another frag on Aerial, and there we go, finishes things off as well. So Daps is hitting his shots, which is, again, re-emphasizing the point. That's good to see for Gen.G, and Bentet is defending well. Automatic starting to get in there with the AWP. You can see Kusta holding things down into Secret. Obviously, it's against pistols, but I think it fills any Gen.G fans out there with some hope here, because Gen.G is stabilizing their economy. They still have a buffer of rounds to work with. Yep. This is how you make the comeback happen. They've got a good base to work from.
Exactly. Just got to take it one round at a time, and so far things are looking up. Another full buy, though, from ENCE. No AWP in the hands of Alu, but still rifles around the board and a bit of utility to work with. Aaron Company is kind of trying to challenge here towards Mini. Kusta, though, not really giving them much to look at. He did take some damage initially, but now just holding a safer angle as Daps keeps tabs on Hut, Sam as well for some reinforcements from Heaven. No quick play from ENCE this time. They have slowed things down, but it looks like they are still going to go for that typical outside smoke wall play to try to threaten Secret, or perhaps even look to attack into Mini.
Yeah, as far as the CTs are concerned, especially when these smokes usually come out in the mid-round here, you could delay for delayed mid-takes, and it creates problems because the CTs likely don't want to have players in forward positions at this timing of the round, so that makes those smokes even more effective at denying information.
Yep.
And X7 is looking after the lobby at the moment, as well as Sergey looking after ramp for any pushes. If there was any info plays, they'd catch it. And Sunny's got that deeper control down Secret. So ENCE can go so many ways with this, and they're going to go straight through ramp to begin with. And Bentet gets a double, always good for it.
And the kill from Automatic as well to pitch in, and it's all mopped up. I think Gen.G not only obviously getting the kills, I mean, that goes without question, but they also use their utility pretty well. Like Automatic was able to fit a nice incendiary in to kind of slow them down from being able to make the most of their smoke while outside to get Secret, which was nice because it allowed Kusta to get to lower. He also threw down his own smoke to continue to slow down any type of push into the lower bomb site, and it really actually bogged ENCE down a bit. Like it forced him to make a late round decision on trying to go into ramp. Bentet good for two as always, it seems. And so well-constructed round from Gen.G across the board, and now they might get a freebie because of it. Now they're going to hit double digits, and now they're out in the heels of ENCE all of a sudden.
It is funny, the statement, like, I see Bentet get 2 kills once, I'm like, yeah, he's always good for it, he's a sample size of 2. but obviously we know him, from his other teams as well. He is a guy that gets multiple kills. That's something that he does pretty reliably, so... See just some toying here with Kusta, and again, it's after such a tumultuous beginning for Gen.G, so many rounds, even though they find opportunity, not able to close them out, it's great to see that they find that stabilizing factor going into the second half, and right now you start to wonder for ENCE, how many chances do they have left before Gen.G have completely taken over the match?
That's a good question. And I mean, you feel like ENCE, the T sides are where they're going to have the most struggles, like when they have to make more decisions, when they have to be more tactical, when they have to have like, really good management of mid rounds and making those decisions on, hey, we have, these, positions, what do we want to do with them? And that, I feel like, is where a lot of their issues have been stirring up ever since Alexa B is the part of the team.
Here we go once again. ENCE a bit quicker outside presence. There is, oh no, there's a big gap there for Kusta. He spots one, that's good information. Doesn't realize maybe that Ali is so close. I think the drop down for Ali was covered by maybe the Molotov or some kind of other sound cue. And Ali's going to be poking into the mini position, into that upper bomb site. Now there might be a swing from behind him. You can see he's worried about that, trying to smoke off his back. And there is the pressure coming through, the flashbang as well. Ali can't quite help from mini, so he can't split the site. So his teammates can't really get in through hut. This is falling apart for ENCE.
Yeah, and really it is. It seemed like Ali was going to have a perfect opportunity there through mini to really cause some big problems. As you said, it seemed like he had able to ninja his way into that angle, but then winds up getting caught up and not able to actually push off. And now Kusta, Sam, and company are just cleaning things up. They've done so well to handle this attack from ENCE. Now they have 11. They're 2 away from the tie. And ENCE has not shown us really anything on this T side ever since the 3-0 start. They have not been able to put together one gun round. And some of these rounds are starting to get decisive. Like, it's like they're not even in it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a stark contrast to Gen.G's T side, where Gen.G, we could say in many cases, they're always getting bombs down. They're always getting chances. Even if they're not winning the clutches or the duels eventually, they are creating opportunities. And I guess I'm just re-emphasizing your point. ENCE, by contrast, are not able to do that. They're not repeating that.
I think like the last 4 rounds in a row, Gen.G has survived with 3 or more players. So they're really doing well in the trading game. They've been very efficient. They're building up their money. Granted, some of those rounds have been rounds where ENCE only had pistols, so it was a little bit easier to do. But they've also won like 3 straight-up gun rounds decisively as well. So it's starting to really get the pressure on ENCE. You have to feel they've had a 13-5 lead, and they've seen it really wither away rapidly.
And the thing, too, is that ENCE is relying a lot on very aggressive timings, generally speaking. And Gen.G time and again are proving that they can hold those. So if you take that out of the equation, what's left? Well, this time another fast timing. It might work out, actually, as the initial pick goes towards the Gen.G the ENCE team. But Daps is holding things down. Some great flick there. Finds the headshot under Sergey. Beautiful defense. Once again, there were small opportunities. Although ENCE were outgunned in terms of what they were carrying, they did get that initial pick, but still, Som.
Crazy.
You ask, what kind of player is Som going to be? And he's going to be this kind of guy. Tapping away, easily dealing with that aggression.
It looked like ENCE was actually, again, able to maybe exploit mini. This time they actually killed Kusta and really had that access to upper, but they could just not convert it. Sam and Daps have really stood tall in the upper bomb site, had some big multi-frag rounds. And then you got Bentet basically locking down lower in ramp. And so it seems like all routes are closed off right now to ENCE. They are back into the full buy. We see Ali with AWP hasn't had it much here on this T side, so maybe this is one of those chances to finally make use of it. He's taking a little bit of damage here in the early round, but nothing to be too concerned with. This time, ENCE slowing things down a bit, just hoping maybe that they can catch a CT being a bit aggressive. But Gen.G are content just to kind of hold firm.
So once again, same timing, more or less, that mid-round smoke timing outside. Or actually, no, they're not going to toss those. I thought they were, okay, here we go. There we go. It's getting worried there for a second. So this is a similar timing, a little bit later than one of the previous rounds where they run this, but automatic's in that position where he gets full information behind it. There's a molly, but he's already in position to deal with this, and he gets the pick. That's devastating, because that was just one lurk. There's nobody to follow up on that, and that also means that Gen.G knows exactly what they're doing now.
Indeed, and now Bentet's also locking off radio room, so again, it's really funneling ENCE to have to go towards upper, where they've had so many problems finding openings, and again, it's going to happen. Sam and Kusta this time, the two to be the ones dealing the blows, and Ali will now just have to back off and stay away. And man, here's the thing about Unamatic. Even if he's not known to be like a really skilled opper in the sense that traditionally he's not played that role throughout his career, so he's not known for like the crazy flick shots or something like that, what we do know Unamatic is that he's smart. He's methodical, like he knows how he wants to take positions or how he wants to do certain things. And the fact that he preemptively jumped in the corner to avoid the Molotov and get the free kill essentially to shut down outside is massive.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, like I wouldn't in knowing Automatic as a player, I wouldn't be surprised if he is in the position to become that he could become like a top 8 AWPer easily in the world. I think this guy has got so much talent, it's ridiculous, and been waiting for a moment for him to be able to have a team to show that, because obviously he's been stuck in that Cloud9 prison for a while.
Yeah.
But here he goes. Bentet might be in for some fragging here. We know he's good for multi-kills. There's one. Can't quite find the second. Very close, though. But he does spot the huge investment, and the entire Gen.G team is rotating around this push.
They're going to be able to pick up his AK-47. X7 actually does have head armor, so he'll be able to make good use of that AK. Automatic missing a chance to catch one dropping down, but that's no harm, no foul. It's still a 4-on-4, and at least they know what's going on. Sando has been smoked off. Kusta defending at least a little bit there on the window push, able to at least keep it even. Bomb has been planted, though, and Automatic able to find an opening here. Another one on the Sergey, absolutely disgusting from Automatic, and he'll just go ahead and finish it off. Why the hell not? And so there you have it, Gen.G, the crazy comeback. Didn't think it could happen, but now it seems like a foregone conclusion that it's here.
And we see some smiles. Automatic's having a good time, and why wouldn't he be? Look at this beautiful shooting there with the AWP. Very fast stuff there, straight in the face, and there was nothing that could be done for ENCE. Automatic is certainly leading the charge with that one, and their money is out of control here, as you were alluding to previously. They're not, in a lot of these rounds, they're not losing that many players. I mean, they usually seem to keep 3 or more alive, which means their economy will forever be growing. And then, again, struggling to get... I mean, they got a bomb plant that round off at the back of a very fast rush, but typically on the gun rounds, they're not finding the finish to a plant. Now, whether they win a post plant or not, there's a different story, but the way that they default into the way that they shot call in the mid round is not getting them through to a bomb plant, which is the final phase there. And so that does definitely indicate that there are some issues. And ENCE seem to be relying heavily on these very aggressive plays. And as I mentioned, that doesn't seem to be working. Time and again, Gen.G have proven that they can hold those pushes. And we haven't seen ENCE successfully run those slower defaults.
Yeah, it's been really, really tough. Before that round, there was a run of 6 rounds in a row where Gen.G only lost 1 player. So that just goes to show you how they've really just been shutting down ENCE completely. It looks like it's going to happen again. Oh my goodness. We'll see if X7 has any hope, but no, not going to be the case. Map point, Gen.G. This is getting so insane.
Dude, Som is so hype right now. He's getting really confident.
Yep.
He's got some nasty aim on him. He's got some really good mechanics. Very, very fun to watch.
And here it goes. Can they finish it off, Dan? Remember, we're down 13-5. They have now just racked up the rounds. They have not seen a single gun round go against them. It's just a huge drought since that 3-0 start to the half.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm excited by what Gen.G are showing us at the moment, even though ENCE is struggling, and we'll get the completion of all the smoke set. That's often actually how teams tend to do it. Leave one open and then smoke it after, in case there's a molly that denies your smoke placement early in the rounds. And Sunny will make his way down secret, so this pressure will cause rotation for the CTs, which means that there are other areas now which are weaker, and that's kind of the point of it. You force them all the way back. Looks like they're going to try to commit here. Kusta lands the headshot, but there's the trade frag. That's going to tell them a lot that there's a trade fragger in that position. Struggles here now for Gen.G, losing most players, just up to Bentet and Automatic, and finally finds some hope.
And it's at the appropriate words for the situation. Again, so many rounds in a row where they only were able to get 1 frag. Now finally they have a 4 versus 2 post-plant situation ahead of them to stop Gen.G from getting the victory. Try to play for that overtime. Bentet being mollied out of heaven, and I mean, there's so much money there on Gen.G, you might as well go for it, or at least try to take some guns down, do what you can. Unfortunately, they won't even really be able to get started. Alu sneaking out, catching Bentet in the back, who was trying to maybe make a play at heaven, and now Automatic is left just looking for exits. So it will be a 14th round for ENCE. It's going to go the full distance, and it might even go a bit extra. We'll have to see what ENCE has in store.
It is a really interesting point you're bringing up about, like, do they go for it or not? Because it's just like Automatic's going for maybe a ninja or something. But what's interesting is they were playing. Looks like they were playing for exits, and I was looking at the money, and if they actually had gotten a couple kills, that would actually have created a problem for ENCE, because they wouldn't have had enough money to actually get full utility in the following round. Right. So it actually seems like exits was maybe the best call, I think. And well, it didn't work out for them in this instance. But for ENCE, a redemption is at hand here. If they can force an overtime, they can. That's that big reset button.
Yep.
They can forget about regulation.
Yeah, using some utility really fast towards upper, trying to maybe create a little bit of pressure. They don't actually play off the back of it, though, just yet, but they are looking to perhaps, again, work towards this outside angle. Sometimes Kusta or Automatic has been able to really be the thorn on their side and actually controlling this area and doing something with it, but it seems like this time Sunny will be able to get that access. But how much further can he get? Because Automatic has a pretty forward angle on this location. And he has been good for many, many completions. Not that one, though.
Yeah, that's a tough one. He's able to hold his position. That's the most important thing. And there is a pick from Som onto Aerial, which I can only imagine is Aerial's poking around the upper bomb site. And life is going to be difficult here for ENCE. You know, a minute left. They've got some map control, but oh no! Oh, big damage there from the utility. You can see 3 players going down to half health immediately, but still ENCE must break the lower bomb site. They're pretty committed here, and Automatic at the steps here has a pretty good position around decontamination to create a lot of pressure as time is of the essence.
Here's the plant right there in front of him. It's too easy for Automatic, just superior positioning. And now it looks like the curtain is beginning to fall on ENCE in this map. It's just Alu and Sergey trying to break their way back, and they do find one. Another from Sergey, and Sergey is single-handedly salvaging the round, just barely, but they still need to find this plant, and Daps is still standing with Kusta. Now it's all on Alu. Sergey did so much work to put him in a maybe winnable position, but he needs to finish the job. Time is running so low, though. He will shut the door. He will get this bomb plant, but the push from the CT is too fast. It's going to be the kill from Kusta, the victory from Gen.G. From 13-5 down, they win it. It took the full